Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen, welcome back to another episode of New Old Cookbook Unboxing. This is where I unpackage the cookbooks that you, the viewers, send in to add to our collection. So I've got a huge collection of cookbooks pre-1950. That's kind of the time period that I collect. Anything before 1950, and I've got cookbooks going back to the 1600s. And I love to get new cookbooks. There's always something new to discover. So, very carefully, what have we got? General Foods Cookbook. 1932 General Foods Cookbook. 1932 General Foods Cookbook. Hardcover. Fantastic. So I really like these cookbooks that are corporate cookbooks. And every once in a while you come across, I mean, the vast majority of these were throwaways. They were paperback, tiny little cookbooks that were given for free. Every recipe in the cookbook, shoehorned the product in. And then there was this second grouping of them that were hardcover, that were more like textbooks. Still a lot of shoehorning going on, but not as much. And they were meant more as something that you would keep on a shelf, that would be revered, that you would hang on to for a very long time. And I don't have this one. I've never seen this one before. Oh, there we go. Molded Salads. And it is, I mean, General Foods is one of those companies that, just by their very name, General Foods, they had amassed a giant group of other food brands by this point. They had their fingers into everything, and it just fell open on this page, and it says Jell-O, Minute Tapioca, Swan's Down Cake Flour, Maxwell House Coffee, Baker's Chocolate, Baker's Coconut, Calumet Baking Powder, Grape Nuts, Postum, Surdo, and many others. I think it's funny that in the United States and Canada it's called General Foods, but in England it's called the Grape Nuts Company. So, I mean, they had a wide range of products, which makes it so much easier for them to have a giant cookbook like this with a very diverse number of recipes, because their product lineup was so diverse. And the reality was they didn't really need you to use any of their products in every recipe, just for the fact that they just wanted to keep their name in front of your face. This is a great cookbook. Okay, 1932? 1932. And it's very interesting as well. One of the difficult points that a lot of people have with the Great Depression is reconciling those snippets of newsreel footage that we see over and over and over again of people standing in a lineup waiting for food handouts, and you know, the rail car going by with all the, can I still call them hobos? At the time they were called hobos, going by, and everybody's looking for work and nobody's working and nobody had any food and everybody was broke. There were still lots of people in the United States and Canada that had a lot of money, that weren't broke, that could cook everything in this book. Times were tight, for sure. Just like times are tight for people today in 2024. But when you flip through this, you can realize that, you know, for a lot of people, the Great Depression wasn't that bad. Okay, next up. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so what we have here is very interesting. These are both from the Washburn Crosby Company. They made gold medal flour. This one is from 1910. And it is, I know that it's from 1910 because I have a couple more in my collection, not from 1910, but from this time period, pre-World War I, post-1900, pre-World War I. They made a lot of these. And they kept putting them out year after year after year. And I can tell by the way that it is bound and paper that it is real. It is from 1910. This one is not. It's very interesting. So this may have been based on one from the 1800s, based on some of the fashions that are written here and something that was written here from the person that sent it in. Thank you for sending it in. But you can see that it's a reprint. And there are telltale signs. I'll do a close-up. There's little marks here on the bottom of the pages where you can see that they've tried to make it, they've copied it from another copy. And at the bottoms of these pages, there would have been some sort of scratch or crack. Also, the way that it is bound is from much later. So these are books. I still find them very interesting. But I put them in that group of, they're trying to obfuscate the time period of the book, whoever printed it. And it may have been printed by the company, and it may have been printed by someone else who would put these for sale in, the gift shop and the roadside attraction and that sort of thing. And I've got a bunch of these books, and this will go with those books. And I've talked about them before on the show. Very interesting piece of history. I need to find the original. I need to find out where this original came from. So that's going to take a little bit of time to sort of track it down and decide where they copied this from. Interesting. Washburn Mills. I mean, they were all about, in all of their cookbooks, they were all about how much flour they could produce and ship. Okay, moving on. I love the letters that I get with these. Thank you very much for taking the time to handwrite a letter to everybody who sends in a book. That's fantastic. And for taking the time to send these to us. So, here we go. These are little corporate cookbooks. Ooh, from the kitchens of Krusteaz. Pancakes, breads, and desserts. Hunt's tomato paste. Let's eat outdoors. Oh, this is from McCormick. Oh, no. Not McCormick. So this is from the American Dairy Association. But it looks like they've taken on a lot of advertising to make this book happen. There's a lot of brands with their stuff in here. And I'm sure a lot of these brands are associated with each other, like all of the Betty Crockers. Although Nestle isn't, Caro isn't. Interesting. I love these little books because they're from, this is probably mid-1950s. And it shows you how to take, very easy foods, make them quickly, and put them together for a picnic. That's fantastic. The Kingman's Recipe Cookbook from a ham company. Kingman and Co. That's something we need more of today. Definitely something we need more of today. A lot of people, myself included, are often confused about where certain cuts of meat come from on the animal. And a lot of early cookbooks had these maps of where the cuts came from, which made it a lot easier at that time to know what to use and what types of cooking based on where on the animal it came from. The only problem is this is American, which is different, slightly different than what we call the cuts here in Canada. So there's always that trying to make sense of what's happening. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for sending these books in. This is Wednesday. On Sunday, on the Old Cookbook Show, we'll be cooking something from one of these cookbooks. I love getting these. I absolutely love getting these, and I love adding to the collection. Anything pre-1950 is fantastic. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.